Yeah, I'm Kevin, and my immaturity is still growing, but it's nowhere near ripe yet, so we'll have to leave it on the vine. It's not going to get picked anytime soon, anyway. I've got this titled Family Divided, and I'm discussing the idea that it seems like there's a divide being developed, not just in the families, but in our countries, in the world, maybe. And it's not a good thing. It, believe it or not, it could be signaling our demise. And I'm talking about the entire planet. But let's talk about the family first. I feel like that there's less and less importance put on the family. And believe it or not, even though I was raised, quite a few years back, I don't have any real feelings of or ties to my family. Um, I feel like I should, but I don't have a strong desire to be around them, and I mean, I can't really say there's anything really negative about them. I mean, I can, but you know what I mean. Um, but I look at other families and the way things are going, uh, the importance of getting together is very seldom. A lot of families are divorced. In fact, I think the divorce rate's going through the roof. And that creates a feeling of separation. The fact that people live so far apart, even though we have ways of traveling, those ways are expensive. So the amount of time with families is limited. And it seems like not just young versus old, in other words, children versus parents, but even children versus children or parents. Well, parents is kind of obvious with the divorce rate. They obviously are having troubles getting along. And maybe it's not getting along, but agreeing on how things should be done to the point that they have to separate. Children don't have an example to lead by. They're left on their own. They each become very independent, maybe in the wrong way, but still a way that they feel they can survive. And so they don't mature as fast because they don't have that base to learn from. And so they make a lot of mistakes that ultimately separates each of them from each other. So the family unit really seems to be falling apart. Now, I can say that back in the 60s, very similar situation arose because the um, the young people really felt that the government was wrong and that they needed to fight against it. And of course, um, yeah, excuse me, that racism needed to be stopped. And fortunately, there were, the young people did come up and fight. And of course, that put them against their parents. And back then, there was a lot of predictions of issues going to be happening. In fact, I want to share this with you now. I consider myself a Christian. No denomination, None of that kind of stuff. I believe in what the Bible says, but not because other people have told me anything. It's because I've read it for myself. And I'll go on record at this point to say that I have read it 7 times, different versions, and I'm working on my 8th. And in there, they talk about the family being divided. Father against son. Mother against daughter. This could be when that's happening. This may just be something in passing. I don't predict the future. I only have read it and know that it is, or let's say I believe that it's going to happen at some point. But now we're also really going to extremes in our country. We can't seem to find any common ground. We have, the left and the right, of course, and they seem to be really at odds right now. And we also have, well, at least I'm reading a lot about it, and that's feminism and MGTOW. So men going their own way, for those who don't know that. Where is this all going to lead us? We really can't survive without each other. Men can't survive without women. Our country can't survive without everybody being united in some way. We have to have some middle ground where we all come together. Families cannot go on hating each other, holding resentments. There's got to be some middle ground. I can say this about my family, even though we don't get together or anything like that, and don't call, don't talk. It's not because we hate each other. It's just we're in different places. But if my brother or my sister needed me, I would be there and do whatever I can. That's a given. And really, if you ask me what I think of my brother or sister, I'm going to tell you the truth. They're not perfect. And I'll tell you the details that I think that they should be improving on. But I'm also going to tell you where they do the things that are right, and they really, should be commended for those things. And we need to take that same attitude, with our country, with the world, because we are all humans. That's the one thing that a lot of people seem to forget. I don't know why, but it's as if everybody else came from another planet. Now, I admit this way some people think. I don't know how they don't come from another planet, but they're human. I can tell. The aliens haven't landed yet, or if they have, they are hiding really well. So keep that in mind. Your family's important. Division is only going to make us weaker. Never will it help us to be stronger. Thanks for listening.